We thought we'd seen the unfortunate end of Manifest after the series was announced for cancellation by NBC, but luckily, Netflix came to the rescue, which gave the series a chance to wrap up its storyline for the fourth and final season. Looking back, a lot has happened in the show, and for today, we'll be looking at some of the most heartbreaking moments in Manifest. So without further ado, let's get into it. Just a heads up to our viewers, since today's episode contains a lot of spoilers from the previous season, so consider yourself warned. Angelina betrays Grace Stone. As if the Stone family didn't go through enough hardships, Season 3 delivers another shock by the end of the season: the death of Grace Stone, played by Athena Karkanis. And baby Eden was forcibly taken by Angelina, who's played by Holly Taylor. In her dying moments, we see the reunion between Cal, portrayed by Jack Messina, who's now at the same age as he would have been if he didn't disappear from boarding Flight 828. What's more heartbreaking about this is that Grace welcomed Angelina into her home, where she cared for her like a daughter, only for the latter to stab her in one of the most shocking events that we've witnessed in the show. What's more upsetting is that even Cal cared for Angelina despite her setting fire to a room where baby Eden was. Because of her action, Grace kicked her out of the house, but Cal let Angelina stay and even hid her from her parents. We don't know about you, but we're pretty sure setting fire to a room where your baby brother is located is a pretty grave offense, but Cal believed that he, Angelina, and Eden have a deep connection, and unfortunately because of this connection, Angelina did whatever it took to reunite with Eden. Danny was cast aside upon Ben's return. When your son and husband mysteriously disappear with no known causes, imagine the pain and frustration you must feel. This is pretty understandable for Grace, and fortunately she met Danny, played by Daniel Sanjada, who she met and later on became her boyfriend. But he's become more than that, even became a father figure for Olive now that Ben and Cal were presumed dead. But the two suddenly reappear, which left Grace in a torn state. Although she didn't exactly sideline Danny in the end, Grace still chose Ben over him. We can't really blame her, since Ben is her husband after all, but we can't help but feel sad and hurt for Danny. Olive being left out, with her father and twin brother mysteriously disappearing without explanation and reappearing 5 years later, Olive's world was somewhat turned upside down. What's most puzzling is that the two didn't seem to age at all, and they were also getting these bizarre callings. Olive may have been bothered for a bit initially, but it became apparent that she felt totally left out when her mother became pregnant with Eden, that she started having these call-ins too. Being isolated in the family could make one so lonely that it didn't come as a surprise when she joined Adrian's cult, the Church of the Returned, to feel like she belonged. It may have filled an empty part of her for a little while, but she eventually learned that joining the Church of the Returned was a big mistake. Manifest cast and crew discussed Grace's death and Cal's shocking reappearance. In an interview with TV Insider, show creator Jeff Rake dished out some interesting facts and other details on what took place in Season 3. Aside from teasing what's to happen in Season 4, he's joined by Josh Dallas, who plays Ben Stone, and his on-screen wife, Grace, Athena Karkanis. Fans and viewers of the show weren't the only ones who got the shock of their lives when they witnessed what happened to Karkanis in the finale. Upon discussing what will happen to her character, the show creator asked the actress if she wanted to share what's to happen with the rest of the cast. When Athena and I talked about it, we said to each other, should we tell the other actors? Rake told TV Insider. In the end, it was Karkanis who decided that it should be kept a secret, saying, no, absolutely. We have to keep it to ourselves and let them be shocked when they turn the page. Ben will eventually find out about Grace's death sooner than later, but discovering that she's been intentionally stabbed, they set out on our quest to find out who's responsible for it. It's the most fundamental, life-altering, devastating thing that could happen to Ben. Rake shares about what Ben will face next season. A Season 4 manifest for Ben is absolutely centered around processing, digesting, coming to emotional terms with such an unspeakable loss, trying to find a way to seek vengeance, to kind of justify the act in terms of finding some meaning out of it. Why did this happen? The showrunner also adds, why would the callings allow something so terrible and devastating to happen? And of course, it's tied into so much other complicated stuff. The baby was taken, Cal came back all growing up, so you can imagine Ben in Season 4 for seeking vengeance for his wife, seeking meaning for the inexplicable, and it becomes absolutely driving force for his character not only in season 4, but in the back half of the series. What does Cal's return mean in future events? Another thing of great mystery aside from shock that happened in this reappearance of Cal as the actual age he should be in right now if he didn't disappear all those years ago. With this in mind, Ray kept mum on any spoilers, but he did say this: it's for Ben and others to figure out where he's been, why he was there, what happened there. The show creator also added that Cal giving up those years is a sacrifice he made for everyone in the world, not just the passengers on Flight 828, nor his family. But there's also the fact that Grace, in her last moments, saw a grown-up Cal. How did she know? To this, Carcanis answered, a mother knows her child. She also added, also it would have been wrong to play that moment as, oh my god Cal, look at you, you're so tall now. Carcanis, acting in those last few shots, received praise from Rake, called her an intuitive actor. I don't know that I've ever worked with a more intuitive actor, Rake pointed out in Carcanis' acting in said scene. Athena just knows where the heart and soul of a scene lies, Rake adds, pointing to her performance in that scene. The last one they shot for the season, and remembering looking at the director and saying, what Athena is giving us right now is exactly what this moment wants to be. Athena Carcanis' acting in the show receives praises from fellow actors and Jeff Rake. In the same interview with TV Insider, co-actor Josh Dallas named one of the most well-enacted scenes as the family's reunion after Ben and Cal went missing for 5 years. That moment was so important because it made the audience realize that we could love these characters through her because of her love running towards us and her emotions that were coming out towards those characters, Dallas recalled. It made the audience just lock in and realize the significance of them being in a way and how important those characters were to her character. To this, Jeff Rake echoed his agreement and added, Athena basically broke her arm and still managed to give that unbelievably powerful performance. She, in that moment and in so many moments, perfectly captured the power and the pain of every mother, every wife, every woman, and her ability to channel that emotional state again and again and again is why the audience is so deeply in love with Grace as a character and with Athena as an actress. And it's why I'm sure people are tearing their hair out all over the world right now having seen what happened to Grace in that season 3 finale. And for that, I'm sorry folks. Did they think killing off Grace in the series was an act of sadism and uncalled for, especially since she's not only a major character but also well loved by many? To this, Rake explained to the fans that they thought long and hard on this turn of events and that they did not make this decision to kill off Grace lightly. There's nothing flip about this, Rake says. There's nothing manipulative about this. There's nothing spiteful about this. This was part of our story and her significance in Manifest remains as strong as ever. Her character lives on through Cal, through Olive, through baby Eden, and of course through Ben as he tries to carry on without her. What's the update on Manifest Season 4? Multiple media sources have revealed that Manifest Season 4 will start filming in November or December of this year after being saved by Netflix from suffering a cancellation from NBC. I'm hopeful that cameras are rolling in November or December latest, Rake told EW in an exclusive interview. We're gonna work as fast as we can while still keeping an eye on quality control because we want to get episodes to everyone as soon as possible. We also want them to be excellent. It might take a minute for a brand new batch of episodes to show up in people's homes, and it's gonna be worth the wait. We're all eager for Season 4 to finally make its way to Netflix, but for now, we can only rewatch Seasons 1 through 3 on Netflix and form our own speculations. With this, we're wrapping up today's video about heartbreaking moments from Manifest and other related news. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.